Footy was all weekend. It was not bad. Some were good, most were a bit average, but the footy is always good. And that's round 11 done, and this is a pill, and I'm gonna bounce it. Heck yeah, folks. Welcome Monday morning, the Footy with Broden Kelly, a light-hearted footy podcast that starts your week off the right way. I was walking out of the MCG today and people saying, I love the Monday, love listening to the Monday, and I know the D's fans are going to be here this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be fantastic. But I'm very excited. Do you know what? Do you know why we're an official AFL podcast now?
Why is that?
Do you know why it's taken 2.5 years? But now we are officially, we've got a new sponsor, a new partner, as they say in the professional world. AAMI,
yes,
who sponsor everything football, are now a sponsor of this.
Fantastic.
We've arrived. Brought to you by AAMI. When clangers happen, it's lucky you're with AAMI. That feels like football to me. And you know what else feels like football? Round the grounds. Let's do it, folks. Round 11 came and went as Melbourne gets frosty and we get round the groundsy. The Battle of Bailey kicked off the round as the Dogs kicked 17 behinds to remove any chance of winning in Geelong. Two premiership contenders went head-to-head at the Cattery. There was more headbands at the ground than a Ninja Turtle convention. Then Friday night had Aussie rapper Briggs proving that some Essendon fans can be cool sometimes as the Bombers took home the Dreamtime of the G-Win. Bombers fans were in raptures as they welcomed the arrival of their new saviour, Angus Clark, a cattle farmer from Mount Gambier. He's the biggest thing to come out of Mount Gambier since Casey Chambers. We've got to start calling Carlton 75 cents, by the way, because they only ever play 3 quarters. Also, the Giants are back for a week, but I don't trust them yet. Charlie Cameron got the bike out for the first time in a while as he destroyed Hawthorn in 3 whole minutes. He upset more Hawthorn residents than Greens candidates in Kooyong. Collingwood proved on Saturday night that you can beat North even with a side consisting of people who are just shopping at Bunnings. Oleg Markov got the call at 3:30 while at Bunnings to come play for the Pies. With a snag in hand, he and the Pies rolled home to trounce the Pooroos. Then Walyalup and Yadapulti went just as everyone in the world planned. There's nothing surer than a docker at home and a power team knocking over in a stiff breeze. The Guana Crows destroyed Walich Marawa in the big old Bird Cup. Then the Nam Demons are winning the flag, more to come on that. And then as we get closer to the halfway point of the year, I can't believe I'm saying this, Suns are firmly in the top 4. What world are we living in? And that is Round the Grounds. And with that, I officially welcome, with his new official name, dressed with, I'm going to say this to the regular listeners of this podcast, I am now joined by a certain person, and for the first time in their lives, I'm seeing a man in pants. Tom does not wear, well, the old Tom was a shorts wearer.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting next to the newly named Tommy Big. Tom, welcome.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Now, you got your... Tell me, you look so handsome, young man.
Oh, thank you very much.
You are such a handsome man in your nice new shirts.
Yeah.
And you've got a lovely cream pant on because you've done a brand partnership, Mr. Tommy Big.
Yeah.
Tell me about who's dressed you today, Tom. Who are you dressed by?
By Johnny Big. Not sponsored, but gifted, you would say. Are these chinos?
Yes, you're wearing a nice cream chino. I'm just rubbing Tom's leg now.
Yeah, it's nice. It was time to give up.
Can we get a shot for the YouTube, please?
Yeah.
Just stand up and do a twirl. Stand up.
Time to give up the skinny jeans, you know?
You are a very handsome man, Tom. I'm looking at you. He's got a nice haircut, folks. He's wearing nice new pants and he's got a nice shirt on.
Oh, thank you.
Very strapping young lad. And you know what? It's nice to see you just bloody looking sharp and well-to-do.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Tell me about going to Johnny Big with your wife and trying on all your free clothes.
It was great. I went in there to be like, I've dressed the same way for, 10 years, do you reckon?
Well, no, you came in about 2 years ago and were like, I'm a linen man now.
That's true. I moved to shirts a couple of years ago, didn't I?
Yeah, you were like, I'm a shirt man now.
But I've worn the same black skinny jeans for 10 years. So I came in with an open mind. I'm done with the skinny jeans. That was the big shift here.
It's fashion-wise, we all moved away from the skinny jeans a few years ago.
Yeah.
I was slow to move and I regret not moving quicker.
And I was very, very
Well, you were not wearing pants at all, but when you were, they were skinny.
Yes, yeah. And I just felt like that was my impetus. So I got 3 different long sleeve shirts, which is a winter thing.
Yes.
A nice winter jacket, which I can wear to the MCC, if we're ever doing a function.
Yeah,
if I have the
very
privilege.
when you want to be a fancy, handsome
Want to
man.
be a fancy boy. And then I got 2 pairs of pants. I got a black pair of chinos and these cream ones.
Well, see, and you are just clean and dapper as a dingo.
We're just glowing over here. And I feel like I'm making a statement.
Do you feel like a new man?
I do, but I think I'm just a normal person now.
What else did you do at Northies? Did you go and get some food or anything?
No. We got straight out of there. We had a board meeting at 4 o'clock.
Well,
so
yeah, you don't have to bring it. Oh, yes, you did. But I'm glad you could fit it in.
Yeah, we managed to fit it in quickly.
We always start with the match of the round, Tom. What's your match of the round?
You know what? I forgot to do this, but I would say Thursday night for sure.
Easily the best game of the round.
Yes.
I'm a bit mad at the doggies, if I'm being completely honest with you. But also, this kind of delivered, I think.
Yeah, it really did. For a while there, it looked like it was going to be a blowout, but
Bailey Smith is a handsome young mullet having, bandana wearing, not afraid to say it kind of thing.
Yeah,
He's kind of
he does say it, doesn't
he
he?
doesn't pull any punches. A bit of a Shane Gillis in the comedy world kind of situation. He's not afraid to say it.
no, he's not.
And the doggies are in fine form. Cats are also in fine form, apart from a drop-off here or there. And this game was decided by 14 points. But it was closer than that even, I would say.
I had no idea until you did the round of the grounds. I hadn't picked up that they kicked 16, 17 to 27. That's incredible.
I was emotional about it because I was like, I kind of wanted to get on my high horse and do some sort of like reel. But then I was like, no, I'm emotional. I'm just going to go to bed. But I was like, if dogs play cats at the MCG in September, I tip the dogs.
Yes, I think so.
Because they missed 17 times.
Yeah.
And cats, 20 goals, 7.
Yeah, and they'll have Luke Darcy back in a month as well, we're hearing. Yeah.
And then the other one, Will Darcy's coming. Not this year, obviously. They're scary, man.
They're
Luke
really
Beveridge
scary.
should just keep working there, I think.
Yeah, he should just do it. You know what I'm going to say about Bailey Smith, though? I've been on
Absolutely.
it all year.
He had a great game.
We need a royal, what do you call it?
Tenenbaum
No, a royal inquisition. Is that what you call it?
Commission.
We need a royal commission.
A royal
into
inquisition
how-
would be, and what do you do for a job?
We need a royal commission into how the Cats were gifted Bailey Smith. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, he's doing a fantastic job there, but also...
winning the coaches' votes. He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, far out.
For
I mean,
a one first rounder.
the person who stood out to me in this game, more so than him, I don't know what I'm talking about, is a bloke called... What's his name? Duncan? Mitch Duncan. I forgot his name. I forgot his name.
Broden, you can't be...
No, I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
What a gun. 300 games. He's played in how many flags? 1 or 2?
2.
A couple?
2.
I saw an interview with him before the game. I'm like, all right, that's what he looks like.
There's
Great.
Mitch.
I locked in. I watched the game. Didn't see him once. But I'm sure he played. But no, the real person I want to call out is fucking Jeremy Cameron. Man.
Ah, yeah.
Jeremy Cameron. Like 6 goals.
Straight.
Is he 100 years old? Is he old?
I think he's. He's the leading goal kicker for the Giants, even though he hasn't played there for like.
He's
10
32 years old.
Yeah.
So I think are we just getting to an era now where old players aren't old anymore?
I think full forward sort of is a nice place to retire.
I think across the board, right? So like obviously Pendle's side bottom. I think Max Gawn is getting up into the
He's
mid.
33 or something. Yeah.
Then you got Cameron, who's still possibly the best. Or, he's the leading Coleman. Is my understanding at the moment. These old players who are just kind of just doing it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like it might be something to do with the full forward. Like Tex Walker's still going really strong.
Tex, another example.
Yeah, I feel like maybe, and Buddy played really well late into his 30s at full forward. I thought, man, you disagreed on that. But I feel like maybe it's a kind position to finish your career in a little bit. Because you don't need to run as much. You just need to be explosive still. You know what I mean?
Cats, great. Cats, flag, potentially. I was saying if there's 4 teams who can still win the flag, you got Collingwood, Geelong. Who else can win it? Dogs.
Collingwood, Geelong, Dogs. I think like the GWS can still. Hawthorn can still.
Hawthorn.
Who knows?
Let's
Give
talk
them a couple more weeks.
We'll talk about both those teams later, but Hawthorn. Oh, doggy.
And then I guess like we have to start taking Suns seriously at this point
And then
as well.
obviously we have to start taking the D's seriously.
Yeah, I mean, 5 of the last 6, I think, actually.
The D's?
Yeah, you've won 5 out of your last 6. So genuinely, like, we might need to start taking the D's quite seriously.
We're the greatest team to ever play.
That really snuck up on me, 5 out of 6.
Let's talk about my match of the round, which is
Okay.
my day at the MCG today.
Yeah, let's hear it, mate.
So this was like Make-A-Wish Broden shit today. So I get a phone call Friday from a guest of this podcast, a mate of this podcast. If you didn't listen to the episode, go back and listen to this legend. Kevin Crepignery, who is the father of Kozzy Pickett. And he rings me up and says, I want you to come with me as my son to the Melbourne President function, and then I want you to be in the Guard of Honour.
Fantastic.
So then I'm like, it's because he's like, my other son can't come, so you're going to be my son.
Fantastic.
And then so I go in, I meet him there. He's just the loveliest guy. He's just ushering me around. Everyone's so excited to see him. And he walks me up to a table where we're sitting, and Melbourne fans, strap the fuck in for this. Byron Pickett is there. Aaron Davey, my favourite player of all time. Matty Whelan. And I'm sitting at a table with just 3 icon Demon players, and we have a lovely lunch, and then we're whisked up and ushered down into the underbelly of the MCG. We get taken to the race where Kev's whole family there is everywhere. All the Crepigneries and the Picketts are all there. It's all all of Petrarca's family's there for the 200 gamers. Petrarca comes out, starts getting photos with his family and stuff. It's all very, very cool. Really, really exciting. And then, like, Ryan Shelton comes over. He's just part of the Guard of Honour.
Love that.
And Tim from Hamish and Andy, Tim, the director of Hamish and Andy, Tim Bartley. So all these cool people. There's all these awesome dancers, Indigenous dancers who are down there for the day. It's all for Sir Doug Nicholls round. Players start coming down. Brian Taylor walks down with Al Nicholson. They come down the race. Al Nicholson sees me and goes, "Oh, Broden!" He knows me from the Bombers are coming. They're coming hard.
Of course.
Then Nathan Jones comes down, looks at me, gives me this thumbs up with this dead-eye stare like, we're going to win today. I'm like, holy shit. And it all comes down. We walk out onto the race. I walk out onto the field. I'm high-fiving kids as I go up the race. And then someone behind me full grabs me, full like a body grab. And I'm like, this is a gigantic person. I turn around. And on Channel 7, Nick Rewalt just picked me up and goes, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here, you nuffy?" Because they'd given me a flag. And I'm surrounded by little kids. And I'm like, "Oh, God, do you want a flag?" And he's like, "No." But and then I look over and I'm like, 30,000 Melbourne fans just see me get picked up by Nick Rewalt. Then Ryan Shelton and I are all standing there. Kev stands with his family. He's got all his kids there. And his grandkids. It's all very cool. And then they lift up the banner. And when you're next to it, it's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then they all run out. And then as Gorney's coming out and he's looking along the row, and then he looks to where we're standing and his eyes light up. And then he walks this is as he's about to lead his team into a really important game, walks right up to me and grabs Ryan Shelton and gives him the biggest hug in the world. And I'm just standing there waving my flag next to him. And then Ed Langdon runs up, "Hey, mate," and says hello to Ryan Shelton as well. I'm like, that's nice. I hope you enjoy, Ryan. And then they ran through, and then I went back to my seat, and we fucking... firstly, Swannies, what's going on here?
Yeah, and 2 of their best players back today as well, right?
Who'd they have back?
Taylor Adams and Callum Mills.
But then important players out as well, like structural players like Amadi were out.
Sure.
And obviously Goulden's still out. I would say is their best player now. But one thing I do need to say as a Melbourne fan is Gawn's our best player, right? Let's remove Gawn.
Okay.
Who's Melbourne's best player outside of that?
Well, I think I know who you're going to say. So it's got to be right now. It's got to be between Track and Kozzy.
Kozzy is easily our best player. Easily. He plays in the midfield. Whenever he's near it, he clears it. He kicked how many goals? 5 or 6?
5-4.
5-4.
Incredible, really.
If he goes, I'm gonna be so sad. Like I'm gonna have to take some time off.
Well, if he has to go, I think he's done right by you guys. If he has to go, he has to go.
He does have to, 100%. 100%. If he has to go, he has to go. But if he goes, I'm gonna be so so sad.
I think that's fair. I just really like the way he's gone about it last year. Hey, if you can trade me, I'd like to go, but if not, no worries.
Oh man,
I just love that.
He's this year. Like I would say, if I'm being honest, he's been a great player for the time he's been with the D's, but like hasn't been to the level of like one of my favorite players ever.
No,
but
this
this
is
year,
next level.
This year is like I can't believe how good he's been.
Yeah, it's such a difficult role to play as well.
He just play. Well, I don't know what role he's playing. He's everywhere.
Yeah,
they're running him through the midfield half the time. But apart from that, it was just a fantastic day. But also, I just want to call out a guy called Aiden Johnson, who is my other absolute super.
Like
I don't think he kicked any goals today, but he was responsible for like 3. I love this guy so much. He looks like me. Firstly,
yes.
Swannies, I think they're just absolutely cooked.
I think so too. I do. I feel like in the last 5 or 6 years, I think they've had one shit year where they just had a year where they didn't show up. I think they're doing it again, and next year they'll just be back.
I feel like Coxie, surely he's a good coach, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's in doubt. I think it was just a balance thing, injuries, first year, new system thing. I do think they'll be fine. They're just not around it this year. And you know what? They'll have some academy guys coming through, probably a top 5 pick. You know what I mean? Like they'll bounce right back next year, I think.
Did you, speaking of academy, we'll talk about the Suns later. You see what Ross Lyon called?
I did.
He called the Suns
the Nepo babies of the AFL.
Well, that's just rude, Ross.
Yeah, I know. I've got it. I've got Ross on my notes.
I think an M word might be coming up for a certain Malacca, if you know what I mean, from old Tommy Big.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was a great. The D's. Let's give the D's their flowers. I think
5 out of 6.
This is a Demons show. I'm going to give the Demons their flowers.
It is spiritually, isn't it? So you're 1 game out of the 8 now, and you're 5 out of 6.
And we're coming with a wet sail, man. Like, it took about 5 weeks to get the game plan working, the new game plan, and now it's working really nicely. And there is this beautiful mix of like first seasoners, second seasoners, third seasoners, with this generation of premiership winning players in Track, Clary, Gawn, Stephen May, Lever. And they're working together really, really, really nicely. And the young players are starting to push out old players. Like, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like they didn't want to rush Viney back in because they don't want to and they don't need to. Yeah,
well, especially if, like, you got young players like Harvey Langford in that role. Like, it might be nice to just... Yeah, Langford's really good.
Oh, my God, Langford's so good. Lindsay's so good. Windsor's so good. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, and you got Saints next week, which is a winnable, and then you've got the King's birthday game, which is always special. Then it's your bye. So if you can win one of those... Actually, then you've got Port the week after. Actually, then it's a bye. So, yeah, hopefully you win 2 out of the next 3 and go into that bye, like, in the top 8.
I think, like, in a year where everyone's up... it's always the same, but I'm so happy with this.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Like, even today, as a Demons fan, my last thing I'll say on the D's today, in a start to the year, which was just so sad, today at the G... There was 38,000 there or something like that. Really nice on a year where we're building up and everything like that. Sunday afternoon. Holy shit! The energy there was like, as a fan base, it was when Melbourne's firing, there's a really lovely energy from our fan base. As Clary kicked a goal and ran off, that whole wing just standing ovation to him, and I got a bit emotional watching. I was like, that's so cool, seeing what a young guy's gone through, and that when Kozzy came up, the same thing as well. It was just really, really special and really, really nice.
I think like the start of the year's taken a bit of pressure off, and now you can be underdog, and now you're coming for teams, and no one's really switched on to you yet.
And it feels like there's no complacency as well, because they keep getting pumped, like bashed. Yeah, that they're like, every time we show up, we've really got to show up, and there's a real want to win. Anyway, give me that sting, Tom. Tom.
Yes, brother.
This week we are launching a new segment, and it's because of our brand new beautiful sponsors who we already mentioned, AAMI, which makes us an official AFL podcast because we're sponsored by AAMI. Well, this week we are launching a new campaign. I'm very proud to announce that they've named me, AAMI, essentially, the head of footy engagement. That means I'm tasked with making sure everyone is loved up and enjoying the footy as much as possible for the entire football-loving community around Australia. Why have I been named this? I don't know. Are there better people to do this? Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
But am I going to get the best results?
Yes.
Probably not. But am I available? Yes. And I'm going to change hearts, as the head of footy engagement, I'm going to change hearts and minds all across this great nation. So what I need from the audience is I'm asking you, dear listener, to nominate your mates whose footy team has had a clanger, because that's what they say at AAMI, and force them into a footy-loving lull. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a team that's full, like you every year with the Suns.
Yep.
Nominate them to me. Email us at thefootywithbroden@gmail.com, and I will ring them and I will rev them up on the phone.
Yes.
So this week we're going to start it, and this is an example episode, okay? So to start strong, I'm setting my target close to home. My best friend in the world, Joe Kozzy, is a diehard Carlton fan. If you don't listen to this podcast, then I'm just getting you up to speed. He even wanted his Bucks party this year to be at the footy to see his beloved Carlton Blues take on the hapless Richmond Tigers in round 1. Now, as the Tigers mercilessly destroyed his Blues, I saw, and I mean this sincerely, his soul leave his body and never return until now. So Joe is currently overseas performing in a touring production far away from Carlton. But I'm going to ring him up. I'm going to give him the rev up of his life.
Hello, Broden Kelly.
Joe, it's always darkest just before the dawn, or darkest blue before the dawn. Sure, the Blues haven't won anything this century, and sure, they keep getting good recruits who don't do much, and sure, Cripps' career has potentially been wasted, and I know that sometimes in the live show you're currently doing in Auckland, the play that goes wrong, that you often pause and think of the irony of that perhaps for Carlton, this is the season that goes wrong. But do we just give up? When you were in Kinky Boots and they tried to shut down your factory, did you just give up? When you played Shrek and Lord Farquaad tried to take down your swamp, did you just give up? When you were in Come From Away, did you just give up with regards to that show? No. The Blues need you now more than ever. I can feel your heart waning, Joe, from your beloved Blues, and I need you to get back on board.
Okay.
Are you ready to get back on board, mate?
Yes, mate, I'll get back on board.
Then repeat after me. Go Blues!
Go Blues!
I believe in the Blues!
I believe in the Blues.
Yeah! Now cheer!
Yeah, Blues.
Haha, good on you, mate. Joe, have you had fun?
I'm so sad.
No!
I'm really sad.
No, Joe, I've revved you up! You're feeling...
I'm so optimistic about the Blues.
All right, thanks, Joe. I'm going to hang up on you now as a comedic trope.
All right, I'll talk for a little bit so you can hang up.
Beautiful, Joe. Another person saved to footy. Let's get back to the fun.
You cannot do that. That is not on Stevie J.
Let's talk about some footy games, and then we'll get into the other stuff around the world, because there's been a big week in sport. But I just want to talk about Carlton versus GWS. I think that's a great joke, calling them 75 cents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was really good, Broden.
I think that's
3/4.
really great comedy.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm a really great comedy.
Yeah.
Now, why? It's some teams, they're like, you can't diagnose why they're playing so badly. It's just really complicated, like a football team, they're not disposing of it in the right way, or this or that. They don't play fourth quarters, and they haven't all year. They've been really good in a lot of games, and then they don't play fourth quarters.
Yeah, it's really been that since the start, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were in this game up to their eyeballs.
Winning in the third. Yeah, right. I see. Yeah. Interesting.
They just keep... I don't understand why they do it.
Yeah. That is really interesting because they...
I can't figure it out. Because Curnow is firing. I think he's back to like the best form he's ever been in. They've got all the. I just can't fathom it. Is it a fitness thing?
Well, I mean, your mind goes there, right? But you think in modern day football, that's not a thing. And they have great runners on their team as well. Like Sam Walsh is famously such a gut runner and all that sort of stuff, right? Like, I feel like that can't be a thing. Like,
okay, I just need to someone help me understand.
It must be psychological, right? I mean, but it's happening so often now. If it was just a few outliers, I would have said they get comfortable, perhaps.
It's like, it's a sure thing. It's a sure thing. And then on the other side of it, right, I'm watching this game at Marvel Stadium, Carlton versus GWS, Saturday afternoon. And it's Carlton sold out Marvel, or big full Marvel. And I just find myself always having to go for GWS because as we're going to talk to Cooper this weekend, Cooper Hamilton, And I just... that no one goes for them. They have to travel all around Australia, but they just keep... I can't help but feel like they're always the underdog, and I want to see them do really well.
Yes.
And this whole sold-out stadium cheering for one team, no one's ever cheered for them. I feel so bad for them. But they're just, it's such a cool story. How can you not love them?
Yeah, I agree. I think the underdog story is exactly it.
I just every time I'm watching, I'm like, I really want Carlton to win here today. But then I was like, no, I want Giants to win because no one goes for them.
Yeah, no, I always end up barracking for GWS as well. But I feel like also on top of the fact that they Carlton just didn't play the best, I think also GWS really showed up for Toby Green.
Toby Green, 28 disposals, 3 goals, 3.
He showed up for himself in his milestone game, but so did the rest of the team. But he apparently always does this. Apparently he always pops off in milestone games.
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
And then Hogan's 4 goals.
Yeah, not bad.
He's back in form.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sold on the stringer I'm not convinced on that.
Yeah.
The other game I want to talk about Saturday night, Freo Yardapulti versus Walyalup. Alex Pearce is gone.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
3 weeks, I think you got. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that's the set thing is if you hit high. There was one today, I think, as well. Callum Mills hit Spargo.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he ended up with concussion, but it would be something similar. There's a lot of hitting high, leaving the ground. I don't think it was... do you think that with the Alex Pearce one, I don't think there was any malice in it.
No, I don't think so.
But
there hasn't... Yeah.
This game has just got 2 very clear narratives out of it that I'm really sorry to Docker fans and to Power fans. It's the same narratives for both your 2 teams. I feel like maybe it is because it's Vic Byers talking about the same shit and you'd love to talk in more detail, but it is just so clear as far as the Dockers go, and it's the only thing everyone's talking about is that Luke Jackson is a better ruckman without Sam Darcy.
Oh, he's so good.
And the talk is that they're starting to shop Darcy around now. Did I say Sam Darcy? I meant Sean Darcy.
We know who you meant, big bro.
Yeah, but then someone will bloody send me a posted letter.
Of course, you just can't play Luke Jackson as a forward. He's just... I think he's actually quite good as a forward, but he's just so much better in the middle.
He's a better Brody Grundy, with full respect.
Yeah,
and that he's a second effort player, but also probably a better ruckman and a faster midfielder.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Darcy can't play forward. I think that's been proven at this point.
But they're just getting interest on Darcy and moving him around the league. But Darcy's good if you play him as the first ruck.
Sure. Oh, he's a fantastic ruckman. No knock on him. It's really just you're almost spoilt for choice there. Yeah. But it becomes a negative because of this great positive. That's what you hate as a footy fan when you've got this awesome positive. It's like the Suns right now having to play Sam Flenders at half forward, and it's like he's having the quietest year ever because that's not where he belongs. It's tough.
My 2 favourite Walyalup players at the moment are Murphy Reid, coming out of nowhere and just being a gun. Kick 4, I think.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah Dudley as well.
Yeah.
Dudley, as we call him. Just like these 2 big personality, cool players. Murphy feels to me like an alternate, like a Captain Pollution to Harley Reid, like to Captain Planet. Like over the other side of town, there's another Reid, and he's also doing cool stuff, and he also wears a headband and like. But then Dudley as well, the tiniest player in the league. Just I love it when I think Watson had an okay game as well. The tiny players, we're always backing in the tiny players.
100%.
Give me a sting.
Anytime, any place, 11 venues, free smoke wherever you want it.
You're not going to like what we talk about next, but it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be given flowers. There's a guy called Ange Postecoglou, Tom, and he is a Greek Australian.
Yeah.
Came through in the 90s. For this century, I think he is the best Australian, maybe Cathy Freeman, but that's 2000, so I'm going to say from 2001 onwards, maybe from September 2000 onwards. He's the best sporting story in Australia. He has done... He's Michael Jordan-esque in my opinion now. Like the mentality and the way he speaks and what he has achieved everywhere he has gone is unfathomable. Now, I'm doing this off the cuff, off the top of the dome.
No prep.
But going through his career, everywhere he's gone is mounted success. So at Hellas or South Melbourne or whatever, dominated there.
Yeah.
And then went to, I forgot it, I'm going to say what I know. Went to Victory, won heaps there. Brisbane Roar. He had the longest running streak of victories in a row forever, won heaps up there. Went and coached the the what are they called? I was going to say the Hockeyroos, the Socceroos to the Asia Championship, Asia World Cup, I think. I'm getting this all wrong. And then he goes to Japan and does the same again. He goes to Glasgow. He goes to Celtic, does the same there twice or three or four, a fucking heap of times. And then he does so well that he gets picked up by an EPL, like a massive world team in Tottenham Hotspur. One of the biggest teams in the world. Drenched, and I mean fucking drenched. Carlton times 50 in misery. I decided to start going through all them during COVID because they were drenched in misery. I'm like, this is my brand. Yeah. I watched a doco on Amazon Prime about them where their new coach Jose Mourinho came in and tried to break a really a coach who got success for teams. And he failed. Coaches before him failed. They got Antonio Conte after him, another superstar coach. He failed. And then they've gone, we're just going to get an unknown coach. We're going to rebuild. We get this guy from Australia, Ange Postecoglou, and I could not believe it. I'm like, and people like Jared Waitley have backed him, and he used to fucking be a panelist on Offsiders. Yeah. Like he's just so Melbourne. He says mate all the time. Yeah. But he's like, what people like about, what's the thing? Believe, what's the guy? The football soccer show? Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
He's the real version of him in that wherever he goes, he just changes the mentality. So he goes to this place that cannot win everything, cannot be successful in any way. Their fans are violently desperate for someone to bring success. He wins them on side by doing this really good version of a very aggressive, offensive football. This year, it falls apart for them. They have their worst season in the EPL. So if you don't know in football, that at any time you're playing for 3 different trophies. It's like if the AFL was happening, and then also the Wizard Cup was happening, and then also the and then we played New Zealand as well, or the World and they compete in that. Halfway through the year, it's looking really bad for the EPL, which is, the Champions League, I believe. Anyway, I'm going to get that wrong. The EPL, the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's looking like they're not going to do anything there. Now, he's going to lose his job. There's a very high chance he's going to lose his job if they get worse. But he decides, we're still in with a chance in the other one. This team needs a trophy. I'm going to risk hugely. I'm going to risk massively losing my job by tanking out of this one and putting all our effort into winning this trophy. And they finish 17th, almost on the verge of relegation, to win that trophy. Mm-hmm. Their fan base, and this is England as a whole, worst place in the world. Like, the media over there, if you think that Kane and Fox Footy and Channel 7 are bad, that makes them look like songs of praise on Channel 2 on Sunday morning. They are so disgraceful. They are so disrespectful. They show no respect to anyone. They just are brutal. They've turned on him so badly. And one day he comes out and says, his job's online, he says, I don't win trophies all the time. I don't win all the time. I win trophies in my second year. Yeah. And he has this look in the interview like, I'm going to fucking win this year. and everyone's like, what an idiot. He's got no idea what he's talking about. There are so many receipts. And he did it. Who does that? Who goes out and says, I'm going to win a trophy this year and does it? He's the most... I'm blown away by how incredible this guy is. I think he's the second coming in sport. I think he's just so sick. And he's Greek, Tom. And he's just a working class... He's the son of a migrant Greek person in Melbourne. I love him so much, and I've just been so happy to watch England eat their own shit. There was a lot of it too where they're like, Australians don't deserve here. Australia, and you feel it in comedy, and you feel it particularly in sport, particularly in football, that they're like, you don't deserve here. And there was a lot of fan base throwing in stuff like Australian coaches say it's proven that he actually doesn't know what he's talking about. Sure. And they're just all fucking wrong. And I just can't believe that there are still some Tottenham fans that want him sacked. Like, what? Can you imagine?
Yeah, no. What cup did he win? The Euro League.
He won the Euro League
and beat Man United.
Europa League Cup, and they beat Man U. Yeah. So it's it's as opposed. Right? So the Premier League is like you finish on the top of the ladder, you win. Yeah. And this is an elimination, like when we play finals.
Sure.
And so he's like, he's like, it's you play a different way in that kind of knockout version than Premier League.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it, and they did it, and I'm just like so rapt for him, and I want to give him his goddamn flowers.
Yeah, I love it.
Give me a sting.
Collingwood have closed like the Grim Reaper.
So Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, I should say, Oleg Markov is at Bunnings at 3 o'clock, 3:30. Maybe he didn't watch the Four Corners expose because damning if you haven't watched it. I recommend going and watching. Have you watched it, Paddy? Have you watched it, Tom?
No, I haven't watched it. I heard enough from you to get it.
Put it on the treadmill.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. And they say you got to come play. And so he comes down. And North, for the most part of the game, stayed with them. But I feel like I was in the group chat saying, Collingwood do this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Playing with their food, I would say, is the analogy. Playing with their food.
100%. Can I say one quickly thing on this while we're on it? I love Oleg Markov from the Suns days, and I really enjoy him as a player. I saw some stuff on X that was suggesting that he should not have been allowed to have played.
Why?
Because Pendles was a laid out, and Bobby Hill was a laid out, and you should have pulled from the emergencies, and they actually broke the rules by pulling in a non-emergency player.
Because they had to get approval. They had to get extenuating circumstances approval.
Yeah.
But why were they allowed to do that?
They should not have been allowed to do it as well.
Why
the
were
whispers I'm hearing.
Why were they given extenuating circumstances?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think they should have had to have chosen from their emergencies. I think it's crazy that Markov was allowed to play.
Was there any other laid-outs where they were picking from their emergencies?
Well, I mean, that's the point of having 4 emergencies, right? Is that you pick a bunch that you're allowed to pick from. 3 emergencies, sorry, not 4. I think they broke the rules.
Now, I think I know what you're saying, and I think I agree with you. Should Collingwood be removed from the AFL?
I think so. They should be, what was that term you used earlier, relegated?
Yeah, I think they should be relegated to the VFL because they don't have enough teams in the VFL.
Yes.
I think it's a really good point, Tom. Collingwood should not be in the AFL.
Yeah, I agree. No, but it's really funny. I mean, Collingwood, like, so many players down and just still managed to win. Obviously, North are a lot better this year and still managed to just turn up every week.
Do we need to send an email to Laura Kane?
And just say, hey, what's up with this cheating?
She came in here once.
She did.
Maybe we should give her a ring. Say, and you know, actually, this will throw us to our next section. Send a please explain. Tom, give me that sting.
The Bombers are coming hard. They're coming very hard.
Commentary sayings.
Okay.
So, a few have jumped out to me, and I feel like there's new ones coming. I feel like the one that I just keep hearing is had to score there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like when there's people running on, then someone like a Jordan Lewis will say, had to score there.
Yeah, interesting.
They really had to score there because of the running on. I feel like that's what I'm hearing more and more. Paddy, you had some suggestion about you are a budding commentator.
One thing I've heard recently that just popped into my head was everything is a piece now. Like, it's not communicating with your players, it's the communication piece. It's not being connected amidst your group, it's the connection piece.
Oh,
everything has developed, everything's a piece now.
Like in a jigsaw puzzle, everything's a piece.
Yeah. The other one I hear a lot is position 1A.
Position 1A.
So if a player is well positioned, they're in position 1A. And I think I hear it like 2 or 3 times a broadcast now. It's just soaked in.
There's all these little... I'm trying to think of more. Have you got any more that you've...
When you chucked in the group chat, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is great. I love that you guys pick up on this stuff because I've never noticed anything. I do know there's footy cliches, obviously.
Yeah.
But I hadn't picked up on any particular commentary one.
Had to score. That's a piece. There's a few that are coming through. Also, just in commentator drama, BT, who gave me nothing today, in full respect, like, I understand. But he's still going on his campaign of destroying Fox Footy. He really... By the way, Auntie Donna shot a bunch of sketches the other day at the Penny Black on Sydney Road.
Oh, yeah.
This is big news.
Okay.
We're in there, we're shooting. It's all going well. And then someone who works there was talking to someone from our team. So, oh, yeah, we had a shoot in the other week. And they said, oh, what shot here? The KO ad.
Ah.
Saturday with JB, with Jonathan Brown and Jack Rewalt doing Elton John and everyone, and then BT at the door trying to get in. That's Penny Black.
Right. That makes sense.
It didn't make sense in my head.
No. Well, it wasn't a new one, or was that one?
That one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the one with the lookalike BT at the door.
Yeah, which is so
That's
fun.
the Penny Black down the road.
Yeah, I love the
We're
Penny Black.
part of... imagine, like, that's literally a few minutes from our office.
Yeah.
Imagine walking past and seeing the entire Fox Footy team in there.
Great beer garden.
Yes, it is a nice beer garden. Well done, Tom. Anyway, so BT is still fighting his fight against Fox Footy. This is what he said on the broadcast today.
Look across to the box next door of course, her opposition. None of them here today. They haven't come from the 2-kilometre trek from South Melbourne. Just interesting in this magnificent arena on a Sunday afternoon, a beautiful day, that you'd come here and it's magnificent to be here. And just look across to the box next door of course, our opposition. None of them here today. They haven't come from the 2-kilometre trek from South Melbourne.
Still going.
And it's just great that we are actually here feeling it, Al.
Well, it makes a difference being here.
I'm off to Alice Springs next week to watch the D's, and
I'm off to Perth.
MCG.
Very nice. Always important to be here to get the vibe and the
Still
feel.
going.
The vibe from Melbourne.
I think fair enough. I think
41 seconds. There's football happening that they dedicate to talking about that.
I think fair enough. I can't believe that Fox are choosing to do that from Fox Studios instead of at the game. Like, no wonder anytime you're like, that was a poor call or that was a late call. Well, it makes sense if they're not even at the game for the MCG games. It's like, what are you doing, Fox?
It's hard to it's hard to defend that.
It's hard to fathom. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's undefendable.
Maybe it's something to do with their Sunday rollout, like because they're doing it from it's all someone who's hosting a panel is then going into another room and commentating and walking back.
I just know that if you're commentating off the screen, like, it's so hard. Sometimes the camera angles are sucky. Like, that's what happens, right?
Let me try and make an analogy on the spot. If you have 9 kids versus 1, 2, 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, you got 3 kids. You're like, I look after all my kids. I take them to the shops. And then you look at someone with 9 kids and you're like, well, I just move them in big directions and I bath them all at the same time.
Sure.
You would understand, right? Fox Footy are covering 9 games a week versus, I think, 3.
100%. But you paid $1.2 billion a year for that privilege. Get the teams together, assemble your best commentators, and send them to the games.
I just think that maybe they're like, we can't afford to because we've got to cover 9 games. We have 400 commentators. We need to have them all back here.
As you'd love to say, Broden, that doesn't pass the pub test for me. I understand you might be correct.
Penny Black pub test.
Yeah, you might be bang on, and that might be a genuine thing, but for me, that doesn't pass the test. Like, send your commentators to the ground. It's going to be a better experience for everybody.
Well, we're giving Channel 7 some flowers, which they don't deserve.
Yeah, not really flowers. More of a knock on.
Their rev up on Thursday night, I thought was as good as it gets.
You love their rev
up.
I
thought this one was sick. It used that cool music that I like.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to get it up. That's Tom's version of it.
You can't filling for you while you get it up, for fun.
Just filling while you get it up. That's a good sting. No, people don't like this, Tom. Here it is here. I'll just... it sounds like this. Shots of Bailey Smith.
Exciting, mate. I don't know. It's I found the love for footy again. I said, I feel like I'm going to be unstoppable because you can't really lose
so
when you
good.
love what you're doing. When you're loving what you're doing.
Don't you think it's a banger?
Yeah.
Bailey Smith versus the Bulldog. This is the biggest...
It's wrestling vibes. It's wrestling coded. Please, Paddy.
I want to note that the person who made that is the same person who made that Hawthorn mixtape towards the end of last year, which excited everyone.
That I'm in?
No, not your one.
Oh, that hurts.
The one that came beforehand.
Oh, that hurts.
And I think that was because the Hawks hadn't been on Channel 7. Maybe they'd been on Channel 7 once up to that point, and everyone at 7 was like, I want to make a highlight reel with the Hawks, but we don't have a national telly game. So it's the same wizard who made that.
Do you want a name drop?
That is Josh Sim.
Yeah, Josh Sim.
Who would be listening.
Yeah, good. Really? I think it's a work of art. I think that. I messaged the person I know who had done the video with me, and I was like, this is as good as it gets. The wrestling level shit. Speaking of which, friend of the pod, Bronson Reed, returned in the wrestling, and he's joined Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman in an evil faction, and he's a goddamn son of a bitch. We got to stop him. Give me a sting.
The man that likes planes, Jack Payne.
Hawks, Brisbane, Marnie and I went, and we had a couple of lovely drinks and watched the game. We moved seats. We were sitting on level 3, and then at the end of the second quarter, why don't we at the 20-minute mark move down to level 1 to get amongst it? And in that move, Charlie Cameron kicked 15 goals and ended the game. Where's Hawks Oregon?
Well, that is a good question, Broden. I think it's a little...
You yelled. That was a very loud well.
Sorry.
No, I liked it. It was liked it. It was like you were really... Your whole body was resonating.
Yeah, I'm not off them. I think Brisbane are still the reigning premiers. Last time I checked, I think they had some embarrassing draws and losses recently and wanted to bounce back and prove that they can play at the G. That's a big Brisbane thing. So I'm more on Brisbane than I'm off on Hawks, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I just think they couldn't go with them in any way.
Yeah, because they're not Brisbane level yet. They're one rung below, like with the rest of the competition, I reckon. But they're still very solidly in that one rung below.
2 words: aura popped.
Could be.
Aura gone.
We can thank the Suns for that, I reckon.
Why?
Did it up in Darwin.
That hurt them, but then yesterday, 2 days ago, Brisbane that was a statement and a half. And I'll say, Fitzroy fans turned up.
Oh yeah, of course, that's great.
They're just riding high. I feel the Gabba fans last week very quiet, but
yeah, Brisbane just have like the best list on paper. They're so strong. They're the reigning premier. They're so good. They should be in first because of that draw against North. But look, Hawks are still 7-4 and still going really strong, and they're going to make an impact in September for sure.
That's really nice, Tom. I'm glad that you backed them in. Give us some, Paddy.
I just wanted to talk about Cal Archie because the man loves the MCG so much. 4 goals on grand final day and then 20 disposals and 4 snags.
He's so good, man. And from Marty, Marty's saying he's an awesome guy. Like in the correspondence they've had in covering the footy, he's the coolest guy ever. So wish him all. Kitty Coleman got rested immediately.
Yeah, fair enough after a year out, right?
I was happy. I was excited to see the man.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Did Cal Archie used to play for Suns?
That's a great question, Tom.
That's a shame.
And he did.
It's a shame.
One
of the many that left.
But you have no room for these people because
now we don't.
As the coach of Euro Euroke said today or yesterday, wherever you're playing, you are the Nepo babies. So that's the last game of the round. 19 points the Suns put Euro Euroke Saints away by. Belt to bottom, I think. Pretty simple. Just a good old-fashioned come down, take care of business, get out of here.
Yeah, stoked because I thought this was a real danger game. I tipped Euroke. I really thought that, we wouldn't show up on a Sunday Arvo, but it's a great sign of maturity. You know how you were talking about how after we beat Hawthorn, you were like, now that we've arrived. This is more of an arrival for me than beating Hawthorn.
Because it's just a normal game.
It's Marvel. It's Sunday. No eyes are watching. It was a really low attendance. I didn't go, even though I said I was going to go. Really low attendance. This was a massive red flag danger game for us, and we got it done. Huge. Genuinely huge.
Look at this top 8. Collingwood, Brisbane, Suns, Guyana. So, I don't trust the Crows at all, and they're 4th.
And let us not forget, the Suns are 2 games behind everyone else as well. Well, 1 game behind everyone else, sorry.
Suns are a game ahead of everyone else.
No, a game behind.
We've
played 10. So really,
Jesus,
we could be in first if we had played Essendon.
Holy Christ!
Would have beaten Essendon in round 0.
Well, you're a few percent points behind Collingwood, but you'd be second if you won another game.
True.
And then in 5th, Geelong, Hawthorn, Dogs, Giants, just making out the 8. So, hang on.
It's a really nice 8. I like this 8. I would be happy with this as an 8. I could see Nam getting in at this point. While you're up getting in, maybe. But really, who comes out for them? Like, I'm not taking Doggies out for Nam. You know what I mean?
Crows are pretenders.
No, I disagree with that. I think they're... Well, it depends whether they're at home. It depends on a lot of things, so maybe.
They are the Adelaide Fringe Festival. They are all show.
It really depends where they are. They're still a very young team. But I don't think that anyone outside of the 8's been better than them.
Yeah, no. I don't know who's good yet. So, if I'm sitting here honestly, I'm like, Collingwood are heads and shoulders above everyone else, but I don't think anyone truly feels comfortable saying that because it's round 11. When it gets to about round 16 and we start to see some real... Do you know what your mate Corbin Middlemass said on Offsiders on Sunday morning? I'm going to say vague numbers that aren't the exact numbers, and it'll be a vibe. Out of the 97 games that have been played, the top 8 have only played each other like 5 times or something, or something like that.
That's crazy.
Those general things, which means that's why there's been a few dud games. But as Corbin said on air, we're going to have a run home of some outstanding primetime games.
I think it's worth remembering that there were 2 top 4 teams that only won 15 games last year, which is historically a pretty low number. Back in 2016, when we played one less game across the whole season, you had teams with 16 wins, so one more, missing the top 4. So it's so close. So you just have to bank them, which is why I think like Collingwood and Brisbane, especially Brisbane, haven't been playing their best footy.
No.
But have just been able to bank 8 wins. Like the percentage is pretty low when you compare it to the Crows and the Suns.
Yeah, like Collingwood have been pretty good, but I don't think they're world beaters.
They played one really good quarter against North, but for 3 quarters they were okay.
But that is also almost their VFL team. There was no Pendles, no Bobby.
No
That's what I would say. I would.
Darcy Moore.
I think they did phenomenally. I think like we give Sydney so many chop outs for a similar thing to what Collingwood has going on.
Yeah.
So really,
no, their injury list is long now.
Yeah, they're
and I think
doing phenomenal.
Maynard.
Yeah, did a foot today. Yeah.
Plantar fascia.
An extension of an already serious injury.
Yeah, the question there, though, because it's one of those injuries, I think Lachie Neale had it at the back end of 24, where if you manage it, it's more problematic than actually doing the whole thing.
Jeez.
Because now he can actually recover.
Yeah, far out. Speaking of, I'm going to fuck it, I'm going to do my best, Goanna. They just belted Eagles today, as you would expect.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about there.
No.
I'm sorry I was rude, but I need to see you win against some top 4 teams now. Who have they beaten? Who have they played out of the top 4?
Well,
that's an impossible thing to just.
Yeah, but they lost to Gold Coast just.
Yep.
They
lost to Collingwood.
Did they lose to Brisbane? I don't know if they've played Brisbane.
Hard to know. That's 2 interstate teams. Why would I know that?
They lost to Geelong at home.
Yep.
Back earlier in the season.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, my main man.
Yeah, I just think I wouldn't all of a sudden put Walyulup in over them, you know what I mean? Because it's not like there's anyone that's screaming out to come in over them at this point.
If the Dockers played every game going forward at Optus, they'd win the flag.
Yeah, or at NG.
Or at NG. In front of their 2 favourite places.
Yeah.
But that's all our games. We just tore through them all, unless I've forgotten one. Have I forgotten any? I never forget them. I haven't forgotten them in a long time, but
we didn't talk about Dreamtime at the G, I don't think.
We didn't talk about Dreamtime at the G because why would we talk about Richmond? No, they've done pretty well. Now let's talk about Angus Clark. That's the big story of that game. Cattle farmer from Mount Gambier comes in and just goes bang, bang, bang. Do you know what Bombers? You know what's exciting about the Bombers?
Yeah.
They're starting to recruit normally.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Finally.
It's as simple as that. Normal drafting, normal recruiting.
100%.
That's my take on the Bombs.
Yeah, I think like Nick Martin, right?
Yep.
Well, he's a good player. He's been good for a while.
Sure.
It was not like a breakout game, but it was potentially an arrival game for him.
Love that.
Do you know what I mean? Like a real step up.
Step up.
Which is nice. Can I say one thing on Dreamtime? I think in my mind, I got it all confused with the whole Sir Doug Nicholls of it. And I saw that footage in that opening. I was just like blown away. And I forgot that is the game. I need to get to that game.
If you haven't been to that game before, you got to go.
Yeah.
It's grand final vibe. It's why it's like if you want to sell people on a night grand final, go and see how well that's done.
It was so cool.
Yeah. But it's sick. They've done such an incredible job with it.
Yeah, I want to get there next year. There's definitely one that I want to put in the cal.
You come with the bro man.
Yeah, we'll go next year for sure.
Richmond, classic, good fight, but young, and I feel like Essendon just didn't go silly.
Playing the 3 children in the forward line, they played Trainer, Lawler, and who was the last one?
Jonty Fall and Tom Sims.
Yeah, so it's like you can't kick a winning score with 10 gamers.
Is Lawler hurt?
Hamstring.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not good. A bad hamstring or a light little hamstring awareness?
Post-game, they were hoping it was a slight one, but he had a lot of hamstring issues in his draft years, so that's the worry.
No, just
ice him. Yeah, who cares?
If it was the NBA, he wouldn't play for the next season.
Yeah, exactly. Just ice him. Who cares? I think that's good. Have a few weeks off, son. You've earned it.
Well done, Bombers. They're keeping themselves in high bottom.
I can't believe that the Bombers are almost in the 8. It's outrageous. I have no right.
Is this exactly where they were last year?
I know.
They were higher last year.
If flowers for them just somehow managing to win when they're so bad, I thought they'd be bottom 2.
I'm watching one thing with Essendon. Just have a look at Todd Goldstein because he has to play in the ruck now and he's 400 years old. He never kicks the ball. He tries to avoid kicking the ball at all costs. He will only handball it. Just watch it this weekend.
Oldstein,
I like that. That's very good, Broden.
Rach Danfield said that on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Give me a sting for headlines.
I'm angry, to be fair. And as a footy club, we've got to grow the fuck up.
Did you do headlines?
I did.
Hell yes. Give me your headlines.
I tried. I didn't write any witty ones this week because I know you don't like witty ones.
I don't like comedy.
I tried to go for just genuinely what I think we'll see. And my first one is for you, Broden. This is your headline. 5 first rounders for Kozzy after all.
Yeah, 100%. But we don't want to take... No one wants him to go as far as...
No, 100%. But it was just, I think a few weeks ago you were like, we're going to have to give so many first rounders. I was like, But now I'm like, nah.
Oh, yeah. Ken stuff. I just predict there'll be so much Ken talk this week.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to compound. And I think it's going to come to a head sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I had a very similar one for my second one, which is very sad, but I think the pressure comes for Voss this week. We're going to see Voss headlines. I hope not. I think stability. I think keep it stable. We talk about it a lot. I think I'm with you with Carlton, but I can just see that, the fan base will demand these sort of headlines.
They're so Tottenham in that they keep, because they can afford to, they make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Because they can afford to, it means they do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And they just stop doing stuff.
Yeah.
Just
stick with us for 5 years. Just
stop.
Stability.
Keep Kennedy.
Yeah.
Stop drafting people and just see what you got. You need a small forward. But apart from that, stop. Just be normal. Next year, you got your mate back. Jagger's back. Whatever you get this year, it's going to be another top 10.
Probably top 10, top 5 maybe.
My next headline is Suns home. Suns we start talking about finals. Suns.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Now, if you're the Suns, do you say we'd like to play a home final in Darwin?
No, I don't think so, but I love the idea of it.
I think that would be the closest you could come to saying we're going to win.
Well, I mean, we're very good at people's first as well. Over the last few years. And I think just because they want to build Gold Coast, and that's just from a business side, they won't do it, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I think they'll start talking about Suns are playing finals this year and you'll start to see that. I think there'll be a real, holy shit, what have we got here?
It's funny because my third one is a Suns one as well. Yeah. And I just thought after hearing Ross Lyon, I felt like I'm starting to hear that a lot more now. The Nepo baby stuff, the built in the boardroom. And I think because we're starting to win and we're getting very serious now, you're going to hear a lot of this negative stuff because it's tall poppy,
Yeah.
So we're going to
start being like the drafting and stuff.
Yeah, they're going to come for us this week.
The Ross Lyon talking about it, it's going to be talked about so much now.
Yeah, it's there. And I think a lot of your average fans will come for Suns now because they don't like seeing us win.
Good point. Bad luck. Alex Pearce will be in the news a lot.
Yeah.
There'll just be a lot of talk about Alex Pearce because of the hit. Did you have another one?
No, that was my 3.
What was your second one?
My second one was the Voss one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Good shout. All right. Well, that was me forgetting you had 3. And that makes me a Malacca.
Wow, another week. Do you like how I do my own little intros for Malacca now where I go, oh, wow.
Yeah, very old media of you.
I hear the music in my head and I've got to do a little intro.
Hey, before and I said just go and get another top 10 pick, Carlton. Mm-hmm. They don't have a pick. They gave it to Hawthorn.
Did they? Right. Hawthorn definitely don't need that.
Yeah.
Well, I think from the people, a lot of Swans fans are down. They're really not happy. They're calling themselves flaky Swans.
I think it's fair. But also, this happens with a grand finalist team.
Yep.
It just does happen.
Yeah. Next, Malacca, the Ollie Dempsey mark out on the full. Only because it was highlighted on 360. And we watched that Jeremy Cameron, the mark where he received the handball out in the full and that was highlighted as bad umpiring. And then literally history repeated itself.
Chris Scott in the presser.
What did he say?
They're like, what did you think of that? He's like, I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
He's like, I don't want to talk about that, but I will talk about the snicko not working. And so then he turned it to being about, well, they fucked us because that wasn't touched.
That's funny.
I was like, you can't say I'm not going to talk about that and then go, but if the snicko doesn't work.
Yeah, go on his own tirade. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Anyway, okay, that's good.
And then I had, what we talked about earlier with the BT saying that the Fox was empty. I really don't like that. I feel like Fox have to send their people to the G at least.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're very aware of it and they very don't like that it's a discourse.
Yeah.
I know they genuinely don't. Can I chuck a St Kilda Malacca in here?
Sure.
Lowest St Kilda crowds at Docklands in non-COVID years. 2020, we'll start in 2000. Mm-hmm. This is when it was Shell Stadium. 16,000. In 2018, 14. 2013, 14. Gold Coast Suns 2014. They're 14-40. Their lowest attendance at the Docklands ever was today or yesterday. 13,400.
That's crazy. I mean, I didn't go, and I feel guilty not going, but I had family issues, so not my fault. But
you don't go for the Saints.
Yeah, but I do think that's crazy. Do you think it's a time thing?
I think it's really easy to punch down on the smaller Victorian clubs, but when your team's being shit and it's a late game and you've got school tomorrow and you've got work tomorrow and you're going to get out of there at 7:30 and it's the Docklands, the worst place in the world.
That was another reason
you can't even go to the Star.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a lot of things against you, particularly going against a top 4 team who are going to pump you.
Yeah. And they did good.
Yeah, and they're a small fan base. But
what can you do? It's not like you can just give them Thursday night every week so that they show up, Like, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, but you can't have the AFLW Grand Final at Marvel because no one will show up.
Yeah,
But
true.
you've only got to have the Saints that have 13,000 show up.
100%. Yeah, that's so silly.
Little sarcasm from the bro man.
100%. Last Malacca I have, and this is more of this is what the people are very upset about the corn and the Bevo thing. Because people love to pile on the corn.
Sure.
We quite like the corn here at this show. We think he's a good a pot stirrer.
Do we?
Yeah, you love the corn. You think he's great.
I talk of corn.
I like corn at times as well. I think I don't dislike him as much as everyone else does. But everyone's mad about him, and they're saying Bevo was in the right and he should have left him be.
Okay, interesting. Suvas?
Well, who do you give the Malacca to, mate? Bring that back.
Malacca. Who would you give it to?
I'd give it to the Swans. Get it together, guys.
Poor Swannies.
Poor Swannies.
That's a sad Malacca, but I understand.
So, Suvas, everyone's about your mate Ange. People are very...
Suva of... Literally, Greg Suva. Come on.
Yeah, literally. Did you see this 100-metre torp in the VFL?
Yes.
Everyone was sharing it around, and I clicked on, I was like, it's going to be whatever. It was genuinely one of the craziest kicks. Jordan Enderman. Fantastic kick.
End to Endman.
Because it was like when I saw the first kick in the video, I was like, oh, this will be the first kick of the chain. I couldn't believe it was
I thought it was huge. It was a huge kick.
Incredible.
It's officially been measured by the Fox Lab at 100.2 metres.
Incredible.
So it's cracked the tonne.
And they measured that all the way from South Melbourne, so that's incredible.
Exactly. It weren't even at the ground. Apparently, I've heard that Track's mum on the mic after the game was great fucking win.
Fuck yeah. That's
was
great.
caught by the mics after the game. A couple of people put that in. Hey, yeah, the Ds. Everyone's loving the Ds.
Well, we love the Ds here. I think our fan base is a lot of Melbourne fans.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of Nam
We can see it in the numbers. And the last one, we just got to give flowers to, Markov coming in late. The Collingwood depth.
From Bunnings.
How they're playing so well with all this injury lists and laid outs and stuff. It's pretty incredible.
Another super. So the number one FM rated show in Melbourne is the Christian O'Connell show.
Mm-hmm.
Christian O'Connell. He talks like that. You ever heard of him?
No, what channel is this on?
Christian O'Connell, Gold FM.
Gold FM?
And he walked up to me today and he's like, sometimes I put on you doing We Didn't Start the Fire to rev me up in the morning. I was like, what are you talking about? That's great.
That's so good.
He's a super for him. But it has to be Ange.
It has to be Ange.
It has to be the Ange man.
The Ange man.
And it's been a lovely, great episode. Just got through the games. Beautiful. Hope you're up to date with the footy this week. Thank you to all support for Zan. Go and listen to that playlist. Give us some feedback. I'm going to get some more people in to build more of that playlist. So please send your suggestions. This week, Cooper Hamilton's going to be a great chat. We've got great stuff coming out the wazoo, let me tell you that much. Go D's, go Suns, go Tigers, go your team. Go